It's absolutely fantastic that we get to change time twice a year. It's a cool little niche in our schedule. It's sort of something it's a monocultural thing for by and large that we all get to experience.
Hold
We have
on.
very, very
Hold
few
on. Hold on.
monocultural experiences.
Wouldn't just time in general be something that's quite monocultural in that sense?
Mayo experience.
Mayo experience. Mayo experience. Mayo experience.
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience, presented by DraftKings, part 2 of the Week 9 picks against the spread. Another Cust Corner, all the finalized picks, and the trade deadline. Recap and discussion, I suppose, of what we're going to talk about and how it affects some of these teams. Reminder to smash the like button. Check out part 1 if you haven't done that already. And sub to Mayo Media Network, rate and review the audio podcast on Spotify and Apple, because that always helps out the show. A nice free way to help out this show. Additionally, runthesims.com, code Mayo, get you 10% off the DFS package. Or if you're only concerned about props on any sportsbook or prize picks or underdog, then boom, runthesims.com, code Mayo for the cheaper package for props only. Geoff Fienberg is on the line with me. How are you? It's not often we do back-to-back shows.
No, it is not. This was a special circumstance. The audience seemed to enjoy that little treat, I guess, but we wanted to make sure we gave a full respect to the full board here.
Yeah, you're all about giving respect. And if you don't want to give respect, you got to avoid, right?
Okay, listen, I'm not happy about yesterday. I'm not. Now, like, did I brag that I'm so good at treading water? And then only to admit that I'm actually referring to when I use a flotation board is when I'm good at treading water. No, I didn't do that. But I did not do any favors for myself. And I don't know. I just get stuck in a conversation. I don't want to talk to people. Just want to go right to my car to grip it and rip it. Like, that's all. That's all I kind of meant in avoiding the locker room. As for the other, no, you should introduce the coin. Yeah, and maybe we'll get into it.
The coin is here. I did tally up all of the final picks from the week. The coin remains one game ahead of you, Geoff. You are now in second place. I am in third place. We're all over 500. Tim did finish 9-6 after Detroit came. I thought we were going to lose the Detroit -8, by the way. We finished filming. I got home. I was waiting. I flicked on the end of the game when they missed the field goal. I was like, oh my God, I know exactly how this plays out. We just watched this happen with Baltimore and Arizona, and we saw Vegas do it to New England earlier in this year. These just outrageous covers out of nowhere in games they didn't deserve to cover. So I thought that was going to happen. Paul is once again behind the glass, although there's no actual physical glass. It's more metaphorical glass because it does not exist. And on the line from his car, stuck in traffic, it is Tim Cust.
Tim Cust.
That is not my name.
How's traffic going, pal?
Agitatingly, but it's all right. This is the sacrifice I make for you, the people. That here I am, hands-free, with a mic attached, doing this for you on Halloween Day.
Halloween Day. My costume is my son got this costume, and then he said that he wanted Daddy to have the same costume as him, so that is why I am wearing this skeleton print costume.
I can't see what you're wearing.
I'm telling the audience, Tim.
I don't know what you're wearing.
Not everything's about you there, main character.
Well, I thought you were talking to me.
No,
we were answering my question.
No, I'm talking to the audience. You know, the people who watched the show. Although I did think about it. I never said that I was dressed as Pee Wee Herman yesterday, so the people that only listened to audio probably had no clue what was going on.
That's probably true.
Yeah, that happens sometimes when you do a visual medium for a lot of it, but more people listen to the audio of it and have no fucking clue what you're talking about. All right, let's jump into this because we only have so much time today because Geoff and I need to go with the kiddos trick-or-treating, and I'm an hour ahead of him, so I need to get out even earlier. But I do want to talk about the trade deadline. There was a few trades. We were, Geoff, between you and I said that Dobbs was going to get traded, and we kind of agreed that Minnesota would be in the market for a quarterback and, fuse our two ideas alike, and then have Tim say that no quarterback is going to get traded, and, we can call this one a win for us. Josh Dobbs going to Minnesota will not be starting this week, already announced, so probably next week he'll end up as the starter. And Tim, I know that you have a problem with this because they're not tanking, but as Geoff pointed out, they were never going to tank anyway.
Well, I was never in favor of tanking. Getting rid of a couple of good players to rebuild is not tanking. But, there's something to be said about looking at a season which is not going to result in a reasonable chance at a Super Bowl and getting rid of guys who are at the end of their contracts in order to build a team that can win a Super Bowl even next year or the year after. Like, what are we doing here? Like, Cousins was going away at the end of this year. And so I don't understand the logic. It makes no sense. It does nothing but hurt the team. Yeah, you can say it's a risk-free trade, but I say that's not an accurate depiction of whatsoever of the circumstances. It does injure the team long term. I
think that they re-sign Cousins. I think that's what's going to happen to Minnesota.
Yeah. That seems like a very plausible solution or result. That was rumored when there were all those thoughts of maybe they would trade Cousins. Nice, really seems to enjoy it there. As for the Dobbs deal, I don't really like if they make the final wild card spot in the NFC. What's that going to mean? They're going to draft what, Tim? Like 18th overall? And if they don't, they're going to draft like
11th,
13th, 12th, 14th. So I'm sort of with Pat. Like, even if it's a nothing burger, I still feel like it's worth it to keep the team to keep the fan base engaged. And that's clearly the Minnesota way over the years.
Yeah, and that's what you had kind of alluded to yesterday, is that the Vikings just aren't going to be... And it's not like they were playing for the number one pick anyway. Even if they didn't trade for a quarterback and traded off some pieces, it's not like... They still play in a division with the Bears and the Packers. It's not like they were going to lose every game. And they already have 4 wins. So, I mean, if it can tread you water, maybe... I mean, I always... Is that Tim getting out of his car?
You pop in a pizza pocket
I
in the
don't know how to
microwave
push
there,
mute
pal?
on this.
You don't know how to push mute on your phone?
I don't know how to push mute on this.
It's on your phone.
Oh, it's on my phone. It's on my phone. Anyway, whatever. Keep going. We can edit all that out in post.
How do you know? We got to turn the show around really quickly. We got things to do there, pal. Either way, Geoff, so that's one trade. I think they'll be fine. Like, they'll just continue to be kind of a middling team, not as good as they were. But in the NFC, it probably makes them one of the 7 best teams. It probably still gets them into the playoffs. It's actually not a bad to make the playoffs bet right now. I think it's like plus 210 at DraftKings Sportsbook for the Vikings to make the playoffs. That seems entirely possible right now.
It's like Rams or Bucks, I would argue, would be the teams that they're going to battle with for that final spot.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you got Philly, Dallas, Seattle, and San Francisco, the winner of the NFC South. And the Lions. So yeah, you got the Saints, the Bucks, and the Rams. And the Commanders, technically, because they have 3 wins, but they're the other team that made the 2 big-ish deals. They send Chase Young to San Francisco for, I think it was a 3rd-round pick, but if Chase Young walks, I think that San Francisco can recoup that 3rd round as a conditional pick if everything breaks their way.
It'll be a compensatory pick if otherwise.
So basically, like, for nothing, essentially. And then the Bears were like, you know what is a great idea? We traded our 2nd-round pick last year, which turned out to be the 32nd pick, for the amazing Chase Claypool, and then shipped him off for a 6th-round pick or something like that. Let's do it again. Let's run it back with Montez Sweat.
Incredible foresight by the Chicago Bears. That one doesn't really make any sense. I'm a huge Sweat fan. He's a fantastic player, but I'm still going to call this out as a bad trade. Like many, there's an elite tier of pass rushers that are going to be on the free agent market. Why do they have to be in a rush to get Montez Sweat and give him a big extension? It's a long list of pass rushers, and they can afford to sign the best one. They just wait to sign Brian Burns or just wait to sign Montez Sweat and keep that pick. So I don't really I love Montez Sweat, but does he strike you as a type of player you want you need to give up a second to get an exclusive 3-month negotiating window with?
Yeah, and listen, maybe Washington would have franchise tagged him and he wouldn't be on the market. Now that does give the Bears the ability. I understand those arguments, but you're not any good. Acquiring a good player is how you start to get better, sure. But I think I'd rather have cheaper control of what's going to be a top 5 pick in the second round and maybe still sign one of these elite pass rushers anyway to go along with it. And you have potentially the first and second pick in the draft, or probably 2 top 5 picks at worst at this point, based on how everything breaks out with Carolina and how they end up at the rest of the year. I saw Dinkmeyer tweeted about it, and he's a Bears fan, and it just kind of questioning, why are they doing this? This doesn't make a whole ton of sense if your goal is to rebuild your team to get better to go win the Super Bowl, not have some weird stopgap so you can spend extra money on a pass rusher who's good, but not truly elite at the same time. And then it's just a bunch of Bears fans killing him in the comment section. It's pretty funny. Fans are absolute morons when it comes to what is a good deal and what's not a good deal.
Well, not every team's fans are best friends with the owner's son.
But I'm talking about the fans as a collective experience, like what you would see on Reddit, Tim. Not the super sharpest people on earth.
I'm not here to mock those people.
Because you are one of those people?
No, just I think, there is some wisdom in the common person that I wouldn't want to forswear.
There's not fucking wisdom with the common person. They're just oh man, we can make the playoffs with Montez Sweat. These are the arguments that they're getting back.
I mean, they're not going to, but they're closer to making. They're as close to making the playoffs just about as the Vikings. Neither team have a good chance.
I mean, the Vikings are already 2 games ahead of them.
Yeah,
which when you talked about it yesterday, pertaining to Baltimore and Cincinnati, was an insurmountable lead.
Not insurmountable, but significant and real. And you have to treat it as a significant and real lead.
The other quarterback, I feel like Pat may have mentioned, if not this week, last week, or maybe I'm making it up, but since Washington did what they did today, they should definitely been trading Brissett also.
Maybe there was just no market for Brissett. I'm actually surprised that once you get, and Brissett, I think that makes a decent amount of money to get where Dobbs doesn't. So he's anyone can kind of take him on. Although Brissett back to Cleveland would have made a ton of sense just because he's familiar with that system. He could have started this week for them. But maybe they've evaluated Jacoby Brissett and don't think that he's equal to PJ Walker or whatever it might be. But I totally lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, good teams. If there's a backup on a team that you identify as being pretty good, and it's a 1-year deal, and you can absorb the cap hit, I'm always surprised that some of the better teams don't go try to acquire one of the better backups if they don't have one, just as a failsafe. Who's the Bills' backup? It's Kyle Allen is Josh Allen's backup. I don't know. I'd rather have Jacoby Brissett starting for me than Kyle Allen if Josh Allen goes down. They can't hear you nodding, Geoff.
Yeah, no, so I got distracted as Tim actually quite well pulled off his technology switch here from his bat phone.
No, see, it's not a smooth switch if you make mention of the fact that I've done it.
No, you did it effortlessly, but the screen flashed a couple times and it caught me off guard. I agree, but at this point, I don't know, the quarterback in their system, I guess a good team should wish they had a Cooper Rush backup that is a safety net, but as the Jets kind of showed,
these people are all terrible. There's 2 good backups in the NFL. What are you people talking about? They're 2 or 3. Cooper Rush is no good. Josh Dobbs is no good. That team is 1-7, by the way. None of these backups are any good. Why don't people go after good backups? There's none to be had. That's why. Yeah. There's not even 32 good stars. There's not 15 good quarterbacks, maybe. There's no good quarterbacks outside of the top 15, 20 guys. After that, between 25 and, 70, I don't see a heck of a lot of difference.
There's a pretty big gap.
Why would I invest a dime into a position where all the players are pretty much exactly the same? Might as well invest in a kicker.
if you do evaluate them as exactly the same, which I don't think that people do, then You're absolutely right. But if you maybe the Bills were a bad example because their defense is just so shellac that having
I like your costume.
having a game manager isn't really going to do anything for them. But if you had a team with a good defense and you lose your star quarterback, well, the chances of you doing anything are incredibly low. That if you did have a playmaker come in to either hold the fort, allow your defense to win games, rather than like some scrub you might potentially have. Like, I don't think that San Francisco would need one, because if Darnold comes in, like, how big of a downgrade from Purdy is he? Probably
Significant. Darnold's terrible. Terrible.
Darnold's your guy.
I don't think you. I don't. I think you're arguing about, if I had $1 million, here's how I would invest it, as if you're going to have the $1 million. Like, none of these backups exist that you're looking for. They don't exist.
What if I did have the $1 million? How would I invest?
No.
Maybe this is the question that I have.
This is the type of. You know what? This is about as practical as my dream host conversation. That's what I actually think about this.
What about Jameis Winston?
Yeah, I was
That's not a good backup.
Awful. God awful. Unplayable. If you have wouldn't you care? You're not winning a Super Bowl with Jameis Winston. You're not going to a conference championship game with
just because Zach Wilson sucks doesn't mean that every backup quarterback sucks. Some are.
They kind of all do, other than like 3 or 4.
There's a different scale of this. Like, Zach Wilson's like,
who are the good ones?
Like, I think that the fellow in Baltimore, he's excellent as a backup.
Huntley?
Huntley. He's a good backup. Huntley's a good backup. Minshew might be a good backup. And, like, I don't know. I'm open to anybody else. Is there anyone else?
I don't see any difference between those two guys and Jameis Winston. I think Jameis Winston is one of the better backups.
If that's the case, then there are no good backups. They're all trash.
Okay.
But are we calling Josh Dobbs a backup?
I mean, Pat's not. Pat's been against it from the start, so Pat doesn't get to call him a backup. He's a starter.
No, but I technically, I guess, like, would think of him as a high-end backup.
This was Cam's position. He
started every game this season. He wasn't on the roster, and they were like, "Hey, we're going to sign you to be our starter," and that's what they did.
Yeah, and I think he's overachieved, and I think it's a nice move for Minnesota.
I think it's a useless move. Anyway, useless. Go ahead. Continue to play and not make the playoffs, and have traded for him and get nothing out of it. I don't understand it.
So what if they make? What
if they make
the playoffs? Would you say it's a success then?
No, because they're not going to go.
All you fucking do is cry about the Jets not making the playoffs.
The playoffs last year.
All I want from the Jets is just for them to make the playoffs. Then you cry in week 1 and they lose.
My team hasn't made the playoffs.
The Vikings are actively trying
years.
to make the playoffs.
Sorry, but I actually see it different than Tim as it pertains to this Minnesota situation specifically. They have to get someone who's proven, like, I guess already in this NFL calendar year, that guy can get Justin Jefferson the football, can get Addison the football. This guy they had in last week can't do that. So I totally agree with what Minnesota did.
Yeah, and like I said,
I think it's just very small thinking, and it cost them a fortune.
What
do you mean it cost them a fortune? What are you
cost them
about?
The capacity to trade away someone like Danielle Hunter for a second or first round pick.
You think that
which they definitely would have gotten?
Really? You think they
at least a second? Sweat went for a second, and Danielle Hunter's better than Sweat.
Well, I don't know. Yes. Well, I don't know if anyone else out there besides the Bears was going to offer up a second round pick.
Can't they franchise tag Hunter? Like what?
They hadn't. I don't see it happening.
Why?
Why he's would you franchise a pass rusher at that price? An extremely high price. Again, a team that's in flux. And I don't like.
Well, then it allows you to own their rights and still trade them for something.
It's bad strategy. It's not the way that a serious team builds.
What do you mean?
And it will cost them. Serious teams evaluate things. They understand what things are on the ground. Why are
you so angry about this? This is the angriest I've heard you sound in a very long time.
Because I'm already anticipating the sort of flippant color by numbers. Oh, it's a free roll. It didn't cost them anything. It cost them like a 6th round pick. And it's like, that is such a poor observation, in my opinion.
I don't even think about that. To me, it cost them. We agree, even with this other guy, their floor isn't in the top 10.
I have no idea what that other guy is like. What odds do you think he's worse than Josh Dobbs, who doesn't win any games? Like I don't know. I'd say it's 50-50 at best. You know
Come on,
nothing about
dude.
this guy. You know nothing about this guy. You haven't seen him throw a single pass.
Well, here's
and
the
yet
thing.
you're
Yeah,
confidently
I know,
able.
We
you're
know
the king
nothing
of all
about him.
things.
You know nothing about him. Jeff knows
You're
nothing
right.
about them. You know who does? The Minnesota Vikings, and they've clearly
No,
made a
they don't.
choice. No, so the quarterback on their team they know nothing about is what your stance is.
He hasn't thrown like more than he threw 40 passes in the preseason, and threw like what did he throw? How many passes did he throw on Sunday?
You realize that they get to see these guys in practice, right?
If you really think that it's clear and obvious that he's better than Josh Dobbs, I didn't realize that somebody died and you got elected the king of all things. Because
You're
that's
so
basically what
upset
you
about
have
this.
to be.
I'm going with the Vikings that they've identified that this guy is not a solution, that he's a project, and that's why he's on the team. He is not capable of starting for them, at least in any long-term capacity right now. Maybe he balls out this week, and maybe he's great. And then whatever. Then you have a guy maybe for the future. That's fantastic. What they're playing for is to still make the playoffs, to remain competitive like they always try to do. And with Josh Dobbs, they can do that. They can tread water and be a middling team in the NFC.
Okay, traffic really took a toll on
I
Tim.
know.
So
I
let's
don't
just
like sitting in traffic. I don't
take a
like
deep
sitting
breath.
in traffic.
Take a deep
What?
breath.
How
Go
do you
grab
not,
a
hold on.
candy
How do you
from the
not like
candy
sitting
bowl.
in
You're
traffic? Like doing nothing and sitting somewhere is like your favorite thing.
But you're not doing nothing. You've got to be attentive to the movements and the this and the that. And I don't like traffic. Okay.
It really riled
Maybe you
up.
could use like a mini Snickers. Go into the bowl. Grab yourself a little.
Are you
snack,
saying that
calm
I'm Joe
down.
Pesci? That I'm Joe Pesci right now, and that I need to eat a Snickers in order to turn back into myself?
Yeah,
Yes.
you're basically like the quarterback for the New York Giants. You are Tommy DeVito.
Another great backup, I guess, in this league, full of
No, he's a
fantastic backups.
third string though.
Josh Dobbs has been anyway. Josh Dobbs is like 31 years old or something.
Yeah, they didn't sign him to a 7-year deal, Tim.
It's a complete and utter foolishness, which it will come to grief. It will not
Josh
work.
Dobbs.
So
looked-
here's the thing that I don't understand. That you're mad at the Vikings because they're not tanking. Yet Josh Dobbs sucks and he only wins one game, so they're going to be bad anyway. So what's the difference?
I think they could. I think there's a piece or two they could trade to improve their team in the next 5 years. They're not going to win games this year anyway.
I mean,
Like, this team's not making the playoffs.
I mean, besides
They're
Donovan,
not making the playoffs.
They probably are
you
going to
sat
make the
here in
playoffs.
like week 2 or 3 crying about Zach being like, I beg you, do anything.
Because
You're
the
holding
Jets
your lot-
have a team that could win the Super Bowl in terms of its talent. Minnesota doesn't.
I mean, the Jets don't either.
Yeah, they do.
No, they don't. That's just a quarter.
They're 4-3 with no quarterbacking.
That's great. Let's
They
see.
beat the Eagles.
I mean, they
and
already,
they beat the
they lost to the Patriots, who are the worst team in the league according to you.
They also
So
beat the
fucking great.
Eagles, and they beat the Eagles.
So we only
and
only count
and
their
the Bills.
wins. Their losses don't matter.
Their loss against the Chiefs is very instructive. They barely lost to the Chiefs, who are, if not the best, one of the very best teams in the NFL.
And they also lost to the worst team in the league, and they tried to lose against the Giants with a third string quarterback.
And they came through. This Jets team being 4-3 is a minor miracle.
All right, and
I won't argue with them.
after starting,
It's like one of the most miraculous
after
stories in the
starting
league.
0-3, being 4-4 for the Vikings is a pretty good result for them. They think
It was. I was on this Vikings team when they had a quarterback. Now they've got Josh Dobbs, who doesn't win any games.
he's won.
So
one.
instead of playing this, he won one game. He doesn't win.
Paul,
Let's bring him in midseason. That's real smart management.
are you just mad because the
Really
Jets
smart.
Are you just mad because the Jets didn't trade for Josh Dobbs? Is this what this is
I
about?
don't want Josh Dobbs.
Are you
I
sure?
don't want
Because
Josh Dobbs.
you begged for him 3 fucking weeks ago on this show.
I don't want Josh Dobbs. My quarterback's coming back.
You did want your quarterback's not coming back. Live in the fucking now, pal. Live in
He is
reality.
definitely coming back.
What, next year?
Okay, fine. We'll
Bet
see,
it.
I guess.
Then make the bet. Make the $500 bet. You
I
said
don't want
you
to.
said
I
Black
don't have
Friday.
to.
You don't have to, but if you're gonna continue to come on here and say that he's coming back like pretty soon, make the fucking bet. Back it up.
No, I don't have
So
to do
you're a
that.
fucking liar, is what it is.
Yeah,
You're lying
okay.
to yourself.
Yeah, okay, sure.
But
Okay.
he's coming back for sure. You don't want any money. Like, here, I'll give you some money. And all the credit.
He's coming back this season.
Oh, so now it's this season. It's not
Well, it
3
is
weeks
this
from
season.
now?
I think it'll be sooner rather than later, but I do think it's almost unquestionable he's coming back this season.
Okay. Yes, Paul.
Tim sounds very confident that Minnesota's not going to make the playoffs. What type of odds will you
Yeah.
give me? I'll take they make.
I don't know. I'd have to look at the board to see what their odds are right now to see.
Why?
what
Why
reasonable
do you
You
to
said
do
they
that.
have no chance.
You have
Give
no
them odds.
chance. So what do you think?
I just don't think they have any chance.
Okay, then give
Okay.
Paul odds if they have no chance.
I don't want to.
Set
I
whatever.
don't
Who's
want
number you
making
want.
the last what? Who's making the 7th spot in the NFC right
The
now?
loser between the Falcons and Saints, I would say. Whichever way that goes.
Just throw a number out there, and then I'll accept or I won't.
Which would make me lean towards the Falcons or the Saints, because I think now the Falcons are going to win it, but maybe it'd be the Saints.
Yeah, I'm bad at math. I forgot about one of those teams. So
Yeah. One of those two teams are going to make it.
Well,
Or
one of
both,
those-
I think, are going to make
Yeah,
it.
one of those teams makes it for sure, and then the other team,
Well, yes.
we'll see.
As an inside track.
I mean, they have the same record as Minnesota. Let's
And
see,
do they
the-
not play this week? They play this week, right? So, I mean, Atlanta could take themselves with a huge step forward this week.
Sure, but I mean,
Atlanta win really puts Minnesota into dire straits.
it's the be game out of the playoffs, potentially tied.
Game
with
and a
New-
half.
Again,
Game and a half.
if Atlanta wins, that means they're up in the division, which is not a spot Minnesota's competing for anyway.
Well, they'll be tied in the division if New Orleans wins as well, which they're going
If
to.
New Orleans wins, Vikings.
Well,
to
there's
ma-
the
Vikings to
second
make-
biggest favorite on the board.
Vikings. Yeah, but so the favorites win every week, is what you're saying. The biggest favorite always
I
wins.
picked New Orleans on the show. We all picked New Orleans on the
Sure.
show.
And you know what? I just took a look at our records. Not great.
Okay.
Minnesota is plus 260 to make the playoffs at DraftKings Sportsbook right now. But you think they have no chance. So give Paul 5-1?
No,
Ten-
I'm not. I don't
10-1?
need to do this. I
Well,
don't need to
you're
do
the
this.
one
I
who's
already made bets
you're
with
the
Paul
one
this
who's
year.
coming on here being super confrontational
I
about
already
everything.
made bets
Making
with Paul this
bold
year. I don't want to
claims.
make any more. I don't. You can keep
Josh
saying
Dobbs
it.
sucks.
but
It doesn't.
when you
It doesn't
say it's
feel like
over.
you want to back up any of your claims with anything, with
You
no
can
stakes.
keep saying it all you want, but as soon as you stop saying it, the conversation's over.
I just don't get it. Like, what is your point on this? You're so confident about it. Is it like you feel bad that you're stealing his money to Paul?
Josh Dobbs is so bad.
Imagine-
You're basically
imagine.
just stealing my money. Give me 5-1, and we have a deal.
No.
Oh, okay. So it
will
doesn't sound
not.
like they have no chance. Sounds like they probably
If that's
have,
the way you
like,
wish to
I don't know, a
interpret that, Paul, I
30%
can't
chance?
control the way you. I can't control the way you interpret things. I said what I said because that's what I think. Believe it or not, grown-up people don't always have to gamble on everything they say. in
We
order
are
to be
doing a
sincere.
show
I
about
know.
gambling.
That's what we
Yeah,
do.
that doesn't
This is
mean
what
every
we
single
do.
statement. Again, not every single statement can or should be backed up in that way.
Yeah, but every
No way to
bold
live life.
There's
But-
a price.
Yeah, there's a price on this, and you're making
interested.
pretty bold claims about this. Like you're leaving no room for a middle. Like this is how it is. It can't be the other way. And Paul thinks it's going to be the other way, and he'd like to put some sort of wager on it with you.
Yeah,
Well,
you
I don't
can't
want
just
to.
shoot your mouth off and imagine that
Watch me.
nobody's going to ask you to back it up. I'm trying to
Okay,
get you
well,
to
I'm
back it
not
up.
afraid. Fine, I don't want to.
Okay, so they have a chance.
Yeah,
I
that's
choose not to race.
that's all we're doing here is that
If you believe so, then go right ahead.
we
Go right
want
ahead.
we just want you to admit that they have a chance.
I don't think they do, but I'm not interested in gambling on it. I get everything wrong all the time.
Well, it
People
doesn't.
not-
It doesn't even sound like you're gambling on it at this point. It's just free money for you.
I get things wrong all the time.
So you think you would give yourself some sort of out on this?
So when Tim's minus
out is I don't have to
400
bet it.
comes through and they miss the playoffs, he gets credit because he told everyone it wasn't going to, but he wasn't willing to take the opposite or accept any sort of
I'm not
risk.
interested in taking. I'm
He'll
not
just,
interested in
you know,
taking
we'll
any
forget
credit
about
on it. It's so unlikely, even according to the odds. It's so unlikely. What's the point of me taking credit for it?
Well, what would be a percentage that is so unlikely?
I'm not getting into. I'm not.
I'm just
can either continue the conversation or
I'm
not.
just fucking asking
I'm not
you a
interested- I'm not
percentage
interested-
question. I'm not asking you to fucking gamble on it. What would be an
I'm not
unlikely
interested- I don't know.
percentage? Put a percentage on it that you would deem unlikely.
I'm not answering the question. I'm not going to be
Do
yelled
you
at.
not
I'm
fucking have an
answering the
answer
question.
for it? Is that the reason?
I'm not answering.
5%?
I'm not answering.
10%? No, it's not even about the Vikings. What is an unlikely percentage?
I'm not going to be bullied into
What's
giving an
the
answer.
bully?
now.
I'm asking you a question. You refuse to fucking answer me.
I don't even know what your rather unlettered question is.
What would be a percentage of the Vikings making the playoffs that you would deem unlikely? Is it do you say that 0 is unlikely? Because of course that would be. Would 10% be unlikely? Would 25% be unlikely? Would 35% be unlikely? What's your bar for unlikely?
I still don't know how this is framed. I don't know. I would say that you give them a 5% chance. because crazy
20,
things I
so
suppose
20 to
happen.
1. Give me
So
that.
20 to 1 would be the
I don't
odds.
want to. Yeah, I don't want to.
But-
that's pontificating off the top of my head.
But it's not. You have given them a 5% chance of making the playoffs. The odds do not state that.
All right, then give me a 10.
don't care.
Like, I'll take 10. I'll take 10 to
No,
1.
I'm not under no circumstance.
5 to 1.
You can keep asking. The answer is going to be the same every
I
single
mean,
time.
anything less than that, I just go to a sports book because I
Then
know
you
that they're good for it.
you're welcome to do so. They're available at your disposal.
Very cowardly behavior.
Go take their money, Paul.
Buffalo at Cincinnati is the first game we're talking about on Sunday Night Football. The Bengals are favored -2.5 over the Bills in, well, I remember the last time they played, and it wasn't particularly close. Then I remember the time they played before that. I believe the game got canceled, Geoff.
The time before that?
Yeah, the Bengals beat the shit
With
out of them in
something-
the playoffs.
Yeah.
And then the time they played before that, the game was canceled after like 10 minutes.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the playoff game.
Yeah.
In my head there. Yeah, that was tragic. We should note the Bills have just acquired Rasul Douglas from the Packers
Oh, casual
for a
Rasual?
third round. Yeah, Rajuel. You're right. It is Rajuel.
No, I
Well,
think
like
it's
definitely
I
spelled-
think it is Rasul, but I think casual Rajuel is way funnier.
Well, he spells it as you said it. So I think that's a nice move for them. Obviously, they were desperate. Obviously, there was like a high, ultra high end and some other high end corners that could have potentially been on the market. So this is a nice pivot. I think they obviously needed a body. I trust him. Yeah, back to the important stuff. I'll get this out of the way. It would be criminal for the Buffalo Bills to not let that man put his uniform on and come out that tunnel and play with his teammates on that field. If for no other role, I could throw a hissy fit like Tim and be like, I'm not going to answer. You're yelling at me. You're making fun of me. But yeah, I believe they should erect the hologram or the real guy, whatever it is. There should be a Hamlin in uniform on that field. You're trying too hard. You're trying too hard.
You're getting to him, Paul.
Bill should play him. If for nothing else, what game did they play him in? The Miami game?
I believe so.
Yeah, and what did he? Yeah, they dressed him. It was for the big emotional pop. And what did he do that game? Can I show you what he did that game?
Led the team to a 48-20 victory.
Yeah, but can I show you what his role was in that game?
Sure.
Oh, that was him playing kick returns, watching the touchbacks. He should be allowed to do that again on Sunday night, without a doubt. Without a doubt. But I have to say this. I don't want to take a page because it's dangerous when I'm pulling pages from Tim Anderson's playbook. Ripping it out.
0% chance he plays, but won't bet on it?
No. If he doesn't play in this game on Sunday night, it's a 0% chance he wins that award.
You keep
If
believing
he
that.
does not dress in this game, the steam behind him in that market is a who's who of players who contribute, who suffered significant injuries, let alone the fact, like, I don't believe it for a second. If Tim's boy plays, he should absolutely probably get the award. But you know who else? 10-1 for an interception. Jalen Ramsey should add himself to this list. Already back in season? What did he do? Crazy. So maybe Rodgers has a chance. Like, medicine is clearly improved if Ramsey got back. I know it's a meniscus tear, but we've seen meniscus tears keep guys out like way longer. Way long.
Jalen Ramsey is not even on the board at DraftKings
No,
Sportsbook
I was looking at it.
for comeback. Aaron Rodgers is 35-1 right now for comeback player of the year. Ramsey's not even on
That's
the board.
crazy. Rodgers is on the board and Ramsey isn't.
Well, I'm just telling you the facts here, pal.
No, that's weird. That's like robbery. That is like, you got to be, no, not robbery. They're just putting the number out. But I mean, like, you got to be so dumb. You got to be, well, no, I guess I said if he plays, he wins. Like if Rodgers takes an actual snap, he wins the award.
I don't know. I used to think that, but like if the voters have to decide, and this is a completely emotional story between one of the least likable people in the NFL
Yeah, it's true.
and one of the most likable people in the NFL, if it's like you can cast your lot in either direction, they're going to vote for Damar Hamlin.
Yeah, the person who's going to give Damar the biggest run, and it depends on how the season goes, is Tua.
Yeah, but the thing is, if Tua wins MVP,
He won't win this.
They won't give him ball.
he won't win this.
But I don't think
But
Tua's
if he
going to win
doesn't-
MVP. But he'll be, if he's in the contention for MVP or Offensive Player of the Year, whatever it is, I think that almost discludes him from this award. Weirdly enough.
No, it doesn't.
I think that it does.
Wait. I don't know. Did me and Paul have this conversation last week? I don't know if it was on there. I don't want to be rude. I don't want to add to the ballots, but when Tua got hit in Cincinnati, we thought he was dead.
Yeah, but he wasn't. He just had thriller hands. So it turned out that's what he was doing. He was just honoring
They went
Michael
to
Jackson
commercial.
on the ground.
They went to commercial. It's like, I think I had the same until you realize the severity you realize, okay, he's not dead. And then you realize, holy shit, something's really freaking wrong with bar on this. Someone wants me to stop talking and Mike just switched. during that.
I tried to ask you who you were going to pick in this game, and then you just ranted about Damar Hamlin for 10 minutes.
Well, listen. No, I didn't. Oh,
Can't
yeah,
help
because
himself.
it's important that he plays.
I don't think that it is.
Well, I think he
It's
needs
important
to
to
play. I
you
think he
'cause
needs
you
to
bet
play
against
kick
him.
return coverage.
Right, whatever. Whether they want to activate him or not, I don't think it really matters. It matters to you, to this game. Who are you taking?
Something is wrong with my situation.
Whoa, the situation?
I can hear you fine.
Yeah, but I hear you differently,
Like you can't.
which isn't your problem.
It sounds like you can hear me.
Me?
Anyway, okay, Tim, who are you taking? The Bengals? Because I'm taking the Bengals.
Yeah, I'm taking Cincinnati. These feel like two teams going in slightly different directions. So you're going to give me the Bengals minus 2.5. When healthy, and he is, Burrow's the better quarterback, and when healthy, Chase is the better receiver, and I just land the games in Cincinnati. So
Yeah, I think
it
offensively,
stands to reason to take them.
I think offensively these teams stack up pretty much the same, at least from what we've seen so far this season. Although if the Bills just pretended like there was 5 minutes left in the game every single game, they would be fine. It's like they didn't even try in the second half against the Bucs. They scored that early. They dominated the first half. They instantly scored in the second half. Then they were like punting from midfield on 4th and 1. Like weird stuff that you wouldn't expect from the Bills because they just assumed Tampa was going to score on them, and they were kind of right. They ended up scoring once more, and they just glided. They do come off the mini bye, which is extra rest for them. And it was a pretty big game for Cincinnati to go into San Francisco and beat the piss out of them. So, two teams, different emotional stakes coming in. Like it felt like Cincinnati may have left a lot out there because it was a big game that they really wanted to win. But I think this one's up there too. And when I take a look at the defense, Cincinnati's defense is just better right now until Buffalo can incorporate. I guess they trade for Douglas. I doubt he's playing this week, or at least he's not really going to know any of the defensive schemes. Once they can either get a bit healthier or integrate new people, then I'll feel better about the Bills in the secondary. But not even getting the full 3 points, I'll just take the Bengals.
What does Paul think?
I don't know. I think 10 days rest is really good for the Bills. I saw some good things in the last game. I mean, that game should have been a blowout, but somehow I think our coaching's horrible, but we're stuck with them for at least the end of this year. We should be winning these games by a lot more. I saw some good things in the offense. Josh played great last game. I don't know, the line seems relatively accurate. Like I could totally see this being a field goal game. I felt a lot better about this game until the Bengals went into Levi's Stadium and absolutely punched San Francisco in the mouth, though. I'll tell you that much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that wasn't good
Go
for
Bills.
anyone, for all the teams in the AFC that think they can go to the Super Bowl. seeing like Burrow healthy and them just looking incredible and those dimes to Chase. It's like, oh shit. And to Pat made the bet. I'm sure the line's already dropped, just as they become such a talk this week that they are probably back and Burrow is healthy. Has it dropped?
Let's see. The Bengals are currently at DraftKings Sportsbook 18-1 to win the Super Bowl now. So they've gone from 25 to 18.
No, yeah. Makes total sense because that 25 is such a nice number. They're where they need to be in that cluster in the AFC. I'm going to take the Bills.
All right,
but I'll be real nervous if they don't dress the kick return coverage role. If they don't dress the right guy in that role, I'm going to be worried about my bet.
Watch him make the Pro Bowl as a special teamer, like your boy Kasim Osgood used to always do.
Oh yeah, he was the special teamer. It's hard to really figure out what the Bills. I mean, we've obviously seen them play down to opponents. The one game where it was like the big test, they completely throttled Miami. I know Tim would dispute this because he'll point to the playoff game, but at least in the regular season, the Bills do a really good job, in my opinion, of getting up for these regular season tentpole games for them. And I certainly believe this is one of them.
Yeah, this would be a revenge game for them of sorts too, after getting embarrassed in the playoffs by the Bengals, and they kind of avenged that comeback loss to the Chiefs last year when they beat the Chiefs in the regular season. So I do agree with you on that. I can see the Bills winning. It's not like it's a super lock for me. I just think that Cincinnati's kind of ascending right now, and they're getting to be the team that we thought that they were going to be before the Burrow injury.
You're right. And listen, if you got injuries on the back end in the secondary, the Bengals can exploit that in ways other teams the Bills have played and barely beat or lost to shouldn't be able to exploit. So that is certainly going to be a big concern. And if the Bills, it'd be one thing to lose the game. If they lose with a lifeless effort, Tim's going to be on Reddit pretty hard because that's like he's looking for a repeat of that playoff game to come here and slice and dice.
Yeah, I just the weird thing is the game means so much more to the Bengals than it does the Bills. Like the Bills are going to go to the playoffs. Even if they drop to 5-4, they're going to be there unless they suffer like a catastrophic. If Josh Allen gets hurt, then they're in real trouble. If not, if they're not the 1 seed, no big deal. They'll be the 5 seed, the 6 seed, whatever. Cincinnati is, tied for second in their division. They're also tied for last in their division at the same time. And if they do want to get home field, they need to go and chase down Baltimore. So I think the Bills are just comfortable of getting there and then figuring it out because they've been there so often over the past few years that it was almost like, did Kansas City end up with the 1 seed last year? They did, right?
Yes.
But it felt like they weren't even trying to get the 1 seed for most of the season. Then they just got it at the end where they were just like, let's just get to the playoffs and figure it out once we're there. And it feels like the Bills are kind of in that mode now. Anyway, that's where I'm at. So Buffalo for Geoff, Cincinnati for everyone else, including the coin. Midway point of the show, it's Halloween, which means it's probably time for a very special edition of Cust Corner.
Cust Corner, it's Cust Corner. Cust Corner, it's Cust Corner. He's got the hottest takes with the highest stakes. He should be president of the United States, but it's Cust Corner, it's Cust Corner. Cust Corner.
Well, we'll make it short because I know that we are tight on time. I just want to preempt all you people this weekend who I know, and I can hear it now. All you people who are going to complain and whine about the time change. I don't want to hear it. I'm not interested in it. It's absolutely fantastic that we get to change time twice a year. It's a cool little niche in our schedule. It's sort of something it's a monocultural thing for by and large that we all get to experience.
Hold on.
We have very, very few monocultural experiences.
Wouldn't just time in general be something that's quite monocultural in that sense?
No, but someplace not but the actual change of the time, the actual going through the process of changing your clock is something that, it applies like 85% or probably more. 90+% of North Americans. And so that's like a very rare thing that anything should affect that many people at once. So that's really neat. And like, if you've been noticing, it's super, super, super dark in the mornings. be cheerful because it's about to get really, really light in the morning. So you don't have to worry about getting up in the dark if you're against that. Things are going to get that extra hour of sleep. If you're someone who's like goes out to the bars on Saturday night, you get an extra hour to go to the bars and celebrate. Like whatever it is that you're doing, this time change is good. And I say, God bless it.
The Jets just made a move. They just
Great.
signed
What did they do?
two-time Pro Bowl guard Roger Saffold III to their practice squad with the intent to promote him to their active roster. He last played for Buffalo in 2022.
They got no one, so I hope he helps till he gets hurt in 3 weeks because that's what happens.
I can't believe you just referred to the time change as a communal experience, as you would when I'd rail you about like Christmas shopping or having to wait in a long line, and you don't mind that because you refer to that as the shared experience.
Yeah, that changing your clock forward or back is a shared experience thing.
But no one actually does that anymore. How old do you have? How old do you have to be to physically have to turn your clocks around?
Most people microwaves
even my microwave is a smart microwave. It'll just update itself.
Fair enough, but you're in the very small percentile of people for whom that's true.
Got to buy some.
Same with your stove. Same with your car. Some people,
your car should update at this point.
Some do, but most still don't.
So when you're doing it, like you're thinking of like Sally down the street who's also changing her microwave today.
It's also a great topic of conversation. Like, oh, don't forget to turn your clocks back. Like everyone gets to have that conveation.
You're that lady from Office Space, just like someone's got a case of the Mondays. That's you at work, isn't it?
It's a really fun thing to talk about.
No,
it's because it's out of the ordinary, because it's something that's both common in the sense that happens every single year, but is also extraordinary in the sense that we're actually physically all turning back our clock back to real time, to standard time, so that our biorhythms get back into a groove. I think it's great.
I feel
you're gonna have like a big bowl of oatmeal, like
chop up your oatmeal,
no.
like
get
Geoff,
ready
I'm
for
gonna chop my oats up. Yeah,
the big scythe.
Yeah, well, exactly. Chop up my oatmeal.
You called it fun. I'm just thinking of the other things you call fun.
It is fun. Like
it
doesn't mean like it's yes, it is.
It's not. Well, I mean, it's an activity and a monocultural event that makes like 90% of people depressed. Super fun though.
I don't think this one makes it's the other one that makes people more depressed when it's about losing the extra hour, like having to get up an hour earlier, etc. This one people by and large like.
This one I did enjoy. When I was drinking so much, I couldn't really remember what was going on in college. That is true, because I did get the extra hour of sleep. But now that's
great.
But now that I work most of the day, I'd like to see some daylight when I leave. It's just not fun.
You will in the morning. It'll be brighter in the morning now.
Yeah, the mornings suck anyway.
Well, not for me. I like it. If it has to be light outside, let it be light early in the day, for heaven's sakes. Good start to your day.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know. This time zone thing is just... Can we create some sort of dome where it's light out all the time and we can like customize it for each of the houses? That would be nice. That I could just walk around in daylight whenever I'm awake, and then it can just be nighttime when I'm not. Like
you mean you could move to the North Pole where it is all daylight all the time at certain times of the year.
Too cold.
I don't know how cold do you think it is in July at the North Pole? Or close to it. Maybe at the actual geographic, but like the 80th parallel. I wonder how cold it is in like mid-July.
The 80th parallel temperature July. I would say like 5 degrees Celsius would be my guess.
I would have said a little warmer than that, but you may be right.
I mean, I don't know. I'm guessing. Mean temperatures. It gets up to, in July, it gets up to like 3 degrees.
Okay, so that's chillier than I expected it to be.
That's not very warm.
But like you can even move to the edge of the Arctic Circle though, where it is warmer.
It's not warm though. I like warm, sunny temperatures. Like, too bad the Chargers aren't in San Diego anymore, Geoff, because you could have got a job. I mean, you probably are a member of the coaching staff anyway, and I could come visit you all the time because San Diego seems like the nicest place on earth.
Love San Diego. I think I'm going back there for Christmas.
Everyone I talk to from San Diego is just like, it's a great place to live. Most people like don't like where they live. They're just always complaining about where they live. People in San Diego just seem like, it's great here. You should move here.
It seems like a nice place. It's weird they've never had any like real nice television shows or big dramas or anything originate out of San Diego. You think of all the like small, just about every other city in America, by and large, has a or more TV shows from it. And like San Diego is like one of the very few major metropolitans that doesn't.
I feel like there's nothing unique about San Diego. Like when you think
the military, like the Navy life.
So
I mean, it has the. I mean, I guess it has Anchorman. So I guess it has that.
It does
which
have
is a
that.
movie.
And I guess if because of the naval base, you could have an NCIS there if you really wanted to.
I'd rather that than NCIS Sydney, which I don't even understand how that works. How is the U.S. NCIS working in a foreign country? Like a conceit for a whole television show.
How do you know it's in Sydney, Australia? How do you know it's not in Sydney, Nova Scotia?
Well, for two reasons, but the main reason would be that's also a foreign country, so it doesn't matter.
I don't know. You could go to the Center 200, go to that one room casino.
You could
take the ferry to Newfoundland. You'd be fine.
I don't know who is, and I mean, I like to think of myself as someone who's somewhat knowledgeable in what people who watch network TV want. Because I'm one of these people who likes to watch network television. Who is clamoring for NCIS Sydney? Who's asking for this?
Well, who
wants an Australia-based show? I don't.
What's the difference? Like
for NCIS,
I think it's more unique to have NCIS Sydney than have NCIS San Diego. Because at least
but it doesn't make any sense.
Who cares? It's fucking NCIS.
And like, is everyone going to have an Australian accent, or are they just going to give up on that?
I don't know,
like,
Tim. I guarantee you that the producer of the show either wants to move to Australia or is Australian and wants to be close to family. That's how this happened. This is how most of these decisions get made.
CBS, why? I think major TV networks don't actually make their decisions that way at all.
Tim, producers make decisions all the time based on this stuff of what's convenient for them and can I get paid a lot of money to do it.
I don't know why CBS would greenlight it.
I don't know. Maybe they get a huge tax exemption for filming in Sydney. That could be one.
Maybe
that could be one.
You know what? I have to watch the show now. I've badmouthed it, so I have to watch it. But I can't imagine it's going to be good.
Do they celebrate daylight savings time in Australia?
I don't think they do.
Maybe I need to move to Australia. Maybe they'd want to get out of the dark in the wintertime. Move to Australia.
Well, it's their summer.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I can tell you a TV show that was out of San Diego.
What?
Fox had a show a few years ago about a girl MLB player on the Padres.
I have no memory of that
Pitch.
One. That was a real show? Are you sure that wasn't on Newsmax, Geoff?
Look at it, like Pitch.
Okay.
You definitely saw that show because it's definitely advertised a ton in that.
No, I am convinced that the only thing that's ever been advertised on football is snake oil. Has anyone watched that? Or what was that other one? Loco Lottery that you wanted to watch, Tim?
It's on my multiple episodes are on my PVR. I just haven't watched them yet.
There's multiple episodes of that show. It lasted more than one show.
Yes.
See, what you should have done if you really wanted to make money was not bet with Paul. Was take that money that you don't bet with Paul, invest in yourself, and you should have done a show-by-show recap of Primetime Price is Right.
It's the same mistakes over and over again. The people don't know how to bid correctly.
I mean, isn't that
I don't understand it.
Isn't that part of the fun of the show?
It was initially, but now it just gets frustrating.
Did they up the prizes for primetime?
I mean, they seem like the same type of prizes.
Like, is the showcase?
I don't watch it as much. I don't watch it as much at night as I used to during the day.
All right, let's go back to the games. Giants at Vegas. Vegas looked pretty lively on Monday night. They are still 2-point favorites.
They look more lively than the Giants.
That is true. Daniel Jones will return to be the starter for the Giants this week, which is a step up. Tommy DeVito was signed to be the backup because Tyrod's not playing. Jimmy G is going to continue to play, and the Raiders don't seem to have made any moves at the deadline. So they're still favored by 2 points. Honestly, the Raiders... It's funny that both you guys were arguing about who like the worst team was between the Raiders and the Patriots, and it just turns out that they're both like really terrible. They're like the two worst teams in the AFC. Make the bet.
My advantage is the Raiders have both a win and the tiebreak on the Patriots. So
yes.
No. It would just be wins. but you've won
If
up.
they finish tied, I gotta have the tiebreak because they beat each other. The Raiders beat the Patriots
No,
head to
you
head.
already won money from me for that game. If they finish tie, if we bet
Come on now. The tiebreaker is. I'm
no,
not
because
making
we're
any more
betting
bets.
now. We're betting.
No,
If
we're
you
not.
had made hold on, stop. If you had made this bet any time, well, I wanted you to make it all summer through the weeks before they actually played that game, I would say, you know what, you are fair. That game gets to be the tiebreaker. Now you have the 1-game lead. I am allowed to get a tie here. I want to make this bet right now. You have forbid to make it.
And I continue to forbid to make it.
Tim, are you having financial problems?
No, I just don't need to make the bet.
Okay.
But you think, okay, but the Raiders.
I made bets with Geoff on the Raiders and Patriots.
I know,
and I won.
Yeah.
And then we doubled up. And what happened?
And you can double up again right now. And you have a 1-game lead already.
No, I don't want to.
But you think the Raiders are going to be better than the Patriots?
Marginally, but like that's the difference between 4-13 and 3-14.
And if they tie, you're going to victory lap it on me?
Well, put it this way. If they tie, the Patriots will pick before the Raiders do in the draft.
Okay, but hold on a second, because like 2 weeks ago, you were victory lapping that it was over.
I mean, I still kind of think it is a little less so than I did before because things are not going well right now in the Vegas locker room.
Yeah, because you watch the Raiders play and it looks like they have zero strategy and zero preparation. That's concerning.
They don't. It is concerning.
Other teams are bad. They make mistakes. You're at least like, okay.
This is actually a very pivotal week for that comparison because this is going to be the last time probably the Patriots and Raiders are favored in ball games, perhaps the rest of the year. So, like, if one gets the win and one doesn't, that's a huge swing.
I thought the Giants made a lovely trade yesterday, considering their situation as well. The Leonard Williams.
I agree.
I'm picking the Giants because
the
Raiders actually show us a game.
I love the Raiders in this game. Love them.
Until the Raiders actually show us a game where they do incorporate a level of strategy, I'm going to pick against them.
I'll pick the Raiders, but I don't love it.
Well, Jeff's on an island here. He's got Buffalo by himself and the Giants by himself. The Raiders are just 5-9 ATS since the beginning of last season as a favorite. However, the Giants are the worst road team against the spread since the beginning of 2021. 4-15-1 on the road. So it's not even a full 3, it's a 2. I think Vegas. And listen, if Vegas is even competitive in that game on Monday night, Geoff, what is the spread? 3.5?
Sorry, I was yawning and my ears kind of. What was that question?
If Vegas lost by 3 and we're competitive against Detroit on Monday night, this game's not -2. It's probably 3.5.
But Vegas, Monday night. Well, anyone watched, I was nervous and I cleaned up a lot of my main tickets, but I had a basket of alternate Lions numbers that I feel like I was on the right side on. They should have won by 30.
Yeah, and listen,
the fact that was even so, I don't even consider that a thing. Like if the Raiders were competitive and played a close game, there was never a moment. There was a moment of competitive, but there was like 500 to 100 in yards.
I went hard on 2 props on Monday Night Football. Jameson Williams under 2.5 catches and Austin Hooper under 1.5 catches. Jameson Williams came through. He only had 2 catches. That was nice. And you think that if Vegas only completes 10 passes, that Austin Hooper wouldn't be the one leading the team in receptions. But here we are. Sometimes shit's weird in football when you bet on it. Anyway, that was just sort of the precursor to Chargers and Jets. Monday Night Football. Jets are a 3-point dog at home in this game. I mean, I'll cede the floor to both of you guys, but I am taking the Jets to cover the 3 against the Chargers. This game feels like the ultimate Fienberg. Chargers by 1 or something stupid.
I would take that result. I wouldn't. I would like to start this by saying I want to retract from yesterday. I don't know what the answer is. I really just don't want to sit here and have to like talk through a Chargers game. But I would like to do something. I would like to show everyone that I have the emotional maturity to do that. But I don't know if it's like worth, like, is it worth just doing the first quarter? Like, I don't know. So maybe we can talk after. I want to walk back some of my stuff from yesterday. I promise you I can do it and do it properly and not cause any problems. I mean that.
A live halftime show. In theory, a live halftime show would be good, but I think the logistics might be too complicated.
And here's the other part. I'm going to be on video. Tim gets to be in audio only. That's bullshit.
That's a pretty good point.
That'd be bullshit. I
can turn my camera on for that if Geoff wants.
You know, like they try to negotiate like rules for the debate.
Yeah.
Well, that's a rule. I'm negotiating.
I would turn my camera on for that if you wanted. I think that's fair.
So, yeah, I don't know. I don't want to steal this from the people, but I don't also.
Yeah, I was happy you said no.
Like
that means I don't have to work on Monday night, which sounds great for me.
Same here.
Yeah,
Same
no,
as Paul.
I get that. And maybe this is you like, we're like, oh, why is he roping this thing back in
Yes,
again?
that's exactly what's going through my mind.
Okay. Then I just don't want to be, I don't want no propaganda campaigns to because people are noting
this is what it's
that
all about. See, Geoff realized this could cost him votes in the election. He realized that very quickly.
Yeah, but it could cost me more votes to have you guys watch.
Yeah, it's a real balancing act here. Is it worth it to just eat the votes he's going to lose by not doing it, or potentially lose a lot of votes if he does do it?
Like
it's what we're going to call the Biden strategy in the presidential election. Like, it'll hurt him to not debate because he'll look not ready to do it, but he'll look even worse if he actually debates.
In theory, in the first quarter, like, vibes are high, the mood can't get too low, maybe a bit of frustration. But at the same time, like, does that make it even worth it? Because if you do it for the whole game, then, people in the audience, when they get a chance, can come in and come out. For the first quarter, once that's over, you miss the first quarter per se, like, because you're busy with your kids. I don't think you're coming back to watch that. You would just hope that, we're still live later and you'll pop in when you're free. So I don't even know if just doing like the beginning of the game is worth it. I mean, maybe we should be talking about this off air, but
yeah, considering I'm supposed to be done in 2 minutes, then that's not going to happen.
Well, we can wrap up here. I mean, I actually don't have as much to say on this game as you might think. And I'll be honest with you. I think that the Chargers should be, the line is perfectly fair. I just think that when the Chargers have gone up against good defenses this season, whether it be the Chiefs, whether it be the Cowboys, they haven't played their best by any means. That when they can play a defense that, for example, can take away their receiving threats, that has speed in the linebacking core in order to neutralize somebody like Eckler, I think the Chargers will have some trouble scoring points on a normal field. But are the Jets going to turn the ball over once or twice and give them fields? And obviously Bosa and James can be game wreckers on that side. There's a lot of reasons to like the Chargers, but there's a lot of reasons to be suspicious of what the Chargers can bring here. And I just think outdoors probably will be somewhat chilly. Jets play good enough defense to rattle the Chargers that I just don't see the Chargers winning 2 primetime games in a row. So... And also a bit of a look ahead game to their marquee matchup the next week against the Lions, which is a far bigger and more interesting game, I think. So
I don't know. I think that being 3 and
all that.
Being 3
everything
and 4,
you said was 100% accurate. Like, your entire breakdown of that was 100% accurate. It's a cross conference game that truly means nothing unless we win the Jets game. I don't see that as a look ahead.
Okay.
It's not on prime time, so
yeah.
I would disagree. But other than that part, I agree with everything you said. And you look at what the Jets have done. Scoring a touchdown on the Jets seems incredibly difficult. they weren't totally stymied against the Cowboys or the Chiefs either, but they clearly couldn't do what it feels like, they can when they're playing that lesser tier.
Both defenses adjusted in the second half, and the Chargers had nothing for them in the second half. In both the Dallas and in the Chiefs game, right?
But I would say the Chargers
so they're scoring early.
The Chargers defense, I would say, like really stepped up in the second half in the Chiefs game.
I would agree with that.
And kept getting them the ball back to give them a chance with the 1-score game to go do it. Finally, they couldn't. I don't have a good feed. I don't have, like Tim sort of also said, you want me to come on with some impassioned feeling. I just don't have it. It's the turnovers. If we give them the short fields, we are screwed. Maybe we can just punt them deep and try to do it, make a couple plays. Our running game is just horrible. It is horrible. It is atrocious on so many levels. We're playing it's bad against a run game is bad against good. Sorry. A run game is bad against bad run defenses. Imagine what it's going to be against. It's going to look like here.
Yeah, but here's the thing about the Jets, though. That they will be running the ball effectively, and then be like, here's Dalvin Cook now. And it's like, oh, super. And then they just like stymie themselves that way. Like the Jets get in their own way more than I think we like to believe. And like you said, they have Garrett Wilson. They have Breece Hall. It should be their entire offense. Just give it to those two guys and let the chips fall how they may, because everything else doesn't work on that offense. But the one key thing, and after watching all the games with Tim so far this year, is that the Jets defense is very, very good, but there is one aspect where they seem to get crushed every single week. Didn't happen against the Giants, but they had no one to facilitate it. Blood dumpster running backs. Eckler could be in for a big receiving day here.
I agree. That's a concern.
And that's like one thing the Chargers do really well.
I think given that these are two of the dumber coaches in the NFL, this game will very likely hinge on some unfathomably stupid decision that one or both coaches make. I don't trust either to manage a very good game here.
I feel a lot better than I did yesterday. I'd do whatever you guys want, and I'd behave like a choir boy. I really would.
I'll think about it. I think the people want it, but if I do the show and the people say they want it, and then we have like 30 concurrents while we're watching the game, well, then I'm gonna be fucking pissed off, wasting my time.
Yeah, exactly.
I will do it, and it is a hinge game. I think for both of us, the Chargers would once again get back to 500 with a schedule that has some lesser teams on the back end to maybe get them to the number they need to. And it's a hinge game for the Jets. This would create a little bit separation. It would totally put them into a playoff picture. Scary enough when you consider the possibilities of it's totally fathomable that both the Bills and the Dolphins lose games on Sunday, where it's like, holy shit, the magnitude of the game goes up like tenfold for the Jets just between Saturday and Sunday. I do believe the game is the season for the Chargers. There won't be recovering from 5-3. This is a loss. This would be a game they absolutely need to have. I don't have the confidence. The coach, I don't know what he's doing. I take 0. You know what I take from the Bears game on Sunday? 0. Thankful. Got to play a bad team. I take nothing from it, even though all 3 phases of the Chargers showed life. I'm not able to take a thing from that. And then I hear like the coach's big adjustment for the week was, and this will work against the Bears, will not work against the Jets. I want you guys to have more fun. I want you guys to have more fun. Now we get a turnover. The whole team is dancing. I hate that shit. So I still think the coach has lost the team. And every week the Jets rally in some weird way that prevents these sort of schisms from the schisms have felt like they're on the precipice of happening. And then the Jets manufacture these wins that it's like, no, all is good. Like, oh, we're winning. Everyone's happy, hugging. So we shall see. But I hate to have to say this, and we're going to go, but because it puts a bit of a bullseye on me, and I'll have to eat it when it doesn't happen. Give a lot of, like you pointed out, Pat, Justin Herbert, he does get a lot of leeway. And I don't believe people that truly like football, understand football, watch football, think he's bad or anything like that. But you absolutely just have to beat Zach Wilson. Like, you just have to beat him. You are making that money. You are making that money. You have to beat him. It doesn't have to do with the money. It's more like your talent. But we can't survive seasons if we can't win games with that QB discrepancy, even if there are discrepancies elsewhere. And I think everyone agrees with me.
I just wanted to see in that Subway commercial that has Herbert and Patrick Mahomes in it, where Mahomes is kind of the lead, and then Justin Herbert says something that Mahomes just turns to him and be like, "Shut up, Justin Herbert. You fucking suck." It'd just be hilarious. I'm just waiting for it every time.
Buddies.
Yeah,
Not buddies, but
I'm sure they're friendly. They're all multi-millionaires. They're fine. Are you taking the Jets, Geoff?
who's the coin on?
Can't tell you that. It's your pick first.
I mean, I'm on my own side on all the games here, so let's make it the trifecta. Want to go into MetLife? I want to take that one. I hope it's like just seasonably crisp.
So
cold.
The coin is on the Jets. Tim, I'm assuming you're on the Jets?
I am, not passionately, because I see certain, we get down in the game, I see trouble coming back, but we've played better against better competition than this, so I think we have a chance.
Can I say I love the under 41.5 in this game?
I do too. We're looking at like a 17-13 type of game.
That's what I was thinking, or even like 17-3 for either team.
Yeah, I don't see a lot of points.
Can I ask a question? I do that. I'm so sorry. The precursor questions. Would the Jets teasers scare you?
Yeah.
Yes.
The Jets teaser scares me only because of the potential offensive. It works two ways. Like, maybe the Jets defense just isn't prepared for Justin Herbert having like a ceiling game, throws all over them. That's a potential outcome. Or Zach Wilson throws 2 pick sixes or something trying to come back.
Yeah.
That would be my hesitation on that. So, I would feel better about, I don't know, teasing the Rams up to +9 against Green Bay.
I would definitely agree with that. Not that I would do it either, but I agree with you.
Yeah. We lost our teaser last week because Cam wanted to put Green Bay into it. Not great. Although he went 3-0 in his pick, so I can't really rag on him too much about that. That show coming out on Wednesday evening or Thursday morning, depending on it. Superlocks for the week. I said I was going to take the Eagles. The more I thought about it, the less I like it, but I'm still going with it anyway. Eagles -3 is my Superlock. One of you two can pick now.
Tim, go ahead of me.
His lock is Minnesota
Titans.
not to make the playoffs.
Titans +3 against the Steelers.
Pickett's playing now, by the way.
Oh, is he? Okay, then I retract that. Sorry, I'm retracting that. Then
hold on. He's not officially their starter. When they asked him today, he said he's most definitely playing. That's him.
Okay, then I'm back. Then I am beep 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 backing off that and taking the Chiefs -2.5.
Chiefs -2.5. All right, Geoff.
I want to retract something I said because it's just going to kill me.
I told you
It's okay
20 minutes ago I got to
Wilson.
go.
It's okay to lose to Zach Wilson. A lot of really good quarterbacks. Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts. He almost beat Mahomes. They can punch you in the freaking face. I am going to make my super lock the Houston Texans.
Houston,
I like that too.
-2.5 against the Bucks. I will be taking Cleveland in Survivor this week. And hopefully everyone eliminates themselves with the stupid Saints. Tim, your free money plays this week.
A 4-team money line parlay that includes Titans, Chiefs, Saints, and Falcons.
Do you even need to put the Saints and Falcons on it? Couldn't you just do Tennessee, Kansas City? Wouldn't that be enough?
Probably, but I want all 4.
Yeah, Tennessee, Kansas
Gives
City
me the +687.
I was going to say, Tennessee and Kansas City alone is just 3-1.
Yeah, but this one gets me to 687.
See, you put the Falcons on
And
there.
if it, Pat, if it loses on Thursday,
Just re-up
Then
on
you can
it.
just remake it as a 3-banger.
Well, that is
No,
that is the one, because that one's plus 130 on the money line for the Titans at plus 3 right now.
Yeah, it's the most valuable part of it.
Yeah, that's one really boosting it up. All right, you won last week, so you got money to play with on your 7-point teaser. The 4-gamer, it hit.
Yeah, it did.
That brings you to 2-6 on the season, which I believe is up money.
Yes, it is. And we still haven't had the Pilgrim Parlay yet.
That's true. And your lifetime record is now 22 and 127. That is not up money.
No, it's not.
But you're digging up. You're digging out of that hole. I like to see it.
That's right.
Smash the like while you are here and sub to Mayo Media Network. We'll let you know what we're doing for next Monday. I'll run it by my wife to see if I can do something on Monday evening, and maybe we can figure out a way to watch the game. If not, maybe we'll do a pre-show, halftime show, whatever it is. Maybe we'll just have Geoff on Sunday night to talk about it then. Who knows? Follow Geoff on Twitter at Fienberg17, Paul at Paul Shag, me at the PME, and Tim, of course, as always, at Tim Undercust.
Tim and August.
That is not my name.
Nor your Twitter handle.
No, it is not.
Are you going to make that bet with Paul now?
No, I'm not.
You should.
I'm not going to.
You've calmed down since you've been out of traffic.
I don't like being in traffic. It frustrates me.
We're going double or nothing. I owe you $100.
Yeah, we'll go double or nothing money line on this game, Geoff. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair.
All right. Thank you for tuning into part 2. Catch part 1 if you've missed it. And I shall return with Cam and Rob after a hot week on the best bets, finally, on Wednesday evening or Thursday morning. So stay tuned for that. All right. I'm Pat Mayo. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.
Mayo experience. Experience.